1972, director S.F. Brownrigg made his directorial debut with the film The Forgotten, later retitled Don't Look in the Basement, which was released the following year. The film tells the story of a young nurse, Charlotte Beale, who quits her job at a prestigious hospital to go to work for Dr. Stevens, a psychiatrist and surgeon who runs his own experimental insane asylum. Once at the isolated sanitarium, Charlotte encounters as odd an assortment of humanity as has ever been seen on the screen. The film was shot in the small village of Tawakona, Texas, in Louisiana Hall, which was built in 1906 and was used as a woman's dormitory for Westminster College. Don't Look in the Basement played small theaters and the drive-in circuit in the early 1970s, paired with such films as Slaughter Hotel and Wes Craven's Last House on the Left. In 1975, Brownrigg made the film Don't Open the Door, which featured much of the same cast as Basement, including Gene Ross, Ann McAdams, Hugh Fagan, and Rhea McAdams. Don't Open the Door tells the story of Amanda Post, a young woman who returns to her childhood home upon learning of her grandmother's illness, only to find herself mercilessly stalked by an unknown, perverted psychopath hell-bent on destroying her sanity. Don't Open the Door was not released until 1979 and was shot entirely in the town of Jefferson, Texas. In addition to the two Don't films, Brownrigg also directed the films Scum of the Earth, also known as Poor White Trash 2, Keep My Grave Open, and the silly TNA 80s comedy Thinkin' Big. Brownrigg got his start working as a sound man and editor for directors such as Larry Buchanan and Irvin Berwick, before turning to directing. I should mention, however, that this film is not a Brownrigg biography. If I were to comment on every film Brownrigg had a hand in, not to mention the plethora of actors and talent that practically became mainstays in Brownrigg films, this could easily become an 8-hour Ken Burns-style documentary. So let's just stick with the Don't movies. My name is Joe. I'm 40 years old, going on about 14. I'm a B-movie junkie, nostalgia enthusiast, antique collector, animal lover, amateur film historian. I'm just an all-around eccentric little oddball. So, how does a 40-year-old B-movie nerd spend his vacation? It's not a joke, no punchline here. But we're about to find out because I got a little time off. I live in Texas, so I decided, hey, you know what I've always wanted to do? Always wanted to see where they filmed Don't Look in the Basement and Don't Open the Door. Perhaps S.F. Brownrigg's two most well-known movies, the Don't movies. And I'd like to throw this little video together as an homage to him and to his work. I don't consider myself a filmmaker. I consider myself an overly enthusiastic fan. So without further ado, folks, let's head east and let's see what happens. Stevens Sanitarium. I have arrived. Some would say way too late.
The line between sanity and madness can be crossed in a single step. And with this step, you enter the nightmare world of terror.
This is it, so we're going to be hanging here for a couple days and hopefully get some cool footage and some before and after stuff, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, very much so. So, here we are. Now, I've seen the movie about 7,000 times, but yeah, this is the front door. This is where Charlotte first arrives.
Have you been standing there long?
Why, no. In fact, I just this minute came in. I didn't see it.
I'm Dr. Masters, Geraldine Masters. Am I expecting you?
Well, perhaps Dr. Stevens hasn't mentioned my coming. I'm sorry. I'm Charlotte Beale.
You will recognize the staircase.
I'll take it. This is it. I hope you'll be comfortable. I have a lot of things to do now, so if you'll come into my office in the morning, we can go over your routine.
Thank you, Dr. Masters.
Good night.
Oh, Dr. Masters, where are the patients' rooms?
Well, they're right next to yours and upstairs. As I said before, we're a family, and it's for that reason there are no locks on any of the doors. Dr. Stevens didn't believe in the doctor-patient relationship. Good night.
Good night.
If memory serves me correctly, this I believe was Charlotte's room, Rosie Holiday. This would be the hallway, and a lot of interesting things went down this particular hallway, as you, I'm sure, remember those of you that are familiar with the movie.
You hurt me. She's fooling. I'm sorry, Danny. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have scared me. You won't tell on me, will you, Danny? You won't tell on me, will you? You won't tell on me, will you, Danny?
It's got to be them, Sam. It's almost 1930 hours. They would have left an hour ago. I think that's them. Hear them, Sam, real low. Watch, above those trees.
Are they really coming, Sergeant?
You wait. They do this every night. Sam, what's that? Right through there.
I don't like it when you say they're coming, Sergeant. It scares me.
All right, Sam. It's all right now.
Shall I tell him, Danny?
Yes, and you both come away from the window. It's been longer than 10 minutes now.
Sergeant, Jenny says it's all right now. Come on, it's all right. Jenny, if they do come, will I see them?
No one's ever seen them, Sam. Now let's not be late for supper again, shall we?
I believe that this is the room and the window where, if you remember, oops, pardon me, in the beginning of the movie when Sam and Sergeant Jaffe were looking out the window because they were coming. Has anybody ever seen them, Jane? Nobody's ever seen them, Sam. And if you look, you'll see that they even still have bunk beds. I don't know that these are the actual bunk beds that were in the movie. They were not the same bunk beds.
Hi, Sarge. Let me see.
Back off, they're on their way.
Let me see. Move it. There's nothing there. You're crazy.
This could be the room where Judge Cameron was approached by Allison, craving love. You know, Gene Ross, Betty Chandler, in the scene. Poor Allison reaching out, wanting to be loved. Judge in his high and mightiness, throwing her out.
Taste me. Please. Taste me. I can be anything you want.
To be carnally minded is death.
Come on. I do taste like strawberries. Taste me.
Shroud your nakedness. You're obscene.
I'm warm and I'm loving. I'm loving. I'm passionate. Men love me. There's not a man anywhere who doesn't really love my body so.
Slut!
You freak. You don't want to be touched because you're so damn pure. You phony freak. You're trembling. Look at you. You're hot for it, but you can't reach out. You can't reach out. You can't love. You can't make it. But I can!
This is where Charlotte was first approached by Mrs. Callingham down here at the bottom of this particular staircase. Rhea McAdams.
rushing around like this alone. Get out. Get out. And never, never come back. Never.
Get out? Why get out? There's no reason.
Oh, there's plenty of reason.
My name is Charlotte. What's yours?
Up the airy mountain, down the rushing glen. You never can go hunting for fear of little men.
And this is the door to the basement. I'm gonna, she was kind enough to let me take these keys from her and come in here and do this, so I'm not gonna disrespect the do not enter sign. But anyway, that is, and plus we're not supposed to look in the basement. It tells us very specifically, don't look in the basement, right? So, but if we wanted to, that would be the door to let us do it. So I hope you're not terribly disappointed that I didn't actually go into the basement. I didn't want to disrespect their rules. They were nice enough to let me wander at my leisure. So, and those of you familiar with the movie, you know that very little of it took place in the basement anyway. So hopefully that won't ruin your experience here. Okay, so I think I'm going to call this a success. This was a really good endeavor. People at the Trinity Institute were very helpful, very cool about this. I pretty much set out to do everything I wanted to do. The only two things that I didn't find was I never did quite locate the closet where Robert Dracup encountered Betty Chandler, you know, Ray the phone guy, that kind of thing. I think I found it, but it was locked, so.
You love me. You do love me. Say it.
All right, already. I love you. Now cut it out.
Oh, you love me. You do love me. Oh, I'm a princess. I'm a princess to men. They can't turn away from me. They grasp me and kiss my flesh. Don't push me away! You said you loved me. You said that you loved me.
And I never did quite pinpoint the location where Dr. Stevens was attacked by Judge Cameron, Michael Harvey, and Gene Ross.
You're a professional. I won't allow you to do it.
Put it down, Judge. Put it down, Judge. Put it down.
I mean, this is pretty vast out here, and I mean, I was looking for trees and things and such, and but I mean, it's here somewhere. You know, I probably walked over it 7 or 8 times, but Tawakana, beautiful little town, friendly people, didn't meet a lot of people, met about 100 dogs. Yeah, there's dogs everywhere, and any town that's got more dogs than people is okay with me. So from here we head off to Jefferson to check out the House of the Seasons and some of the filming locations for Don't Open the Door. So I'll see you in Jefferson. So I'm on my way to Jefferson right now. I'm just leaving Tawakana, and I stopped in the local coffee shop, and I had a nice conversation with some of the guys there, nicest people ever. And I wanted to ask the guy if he would repeat this story on camera, but then I got a little nervous, but I thought I'd repeat it anyway. But one of the guys I just had coffee with, when I told him why I was in Tawakana, he told me a really cool story about how back in '72 when they were filming Don't Look in the Basement, he was in charge of mowing the grass there at where the Trinity Institute is and where the house is. And apparently Brownrigg came out and asked him if he could, you know, stop because they were trying to film the movie. And he told Brownrigg, "No, I gotta mow this yard, I gotta mow that yard, I got all this stuff to do." And Brownrigg said, "Well, I'll give you $50 if you'll just take the rest of the day off." And this guy got paid, I think he said like $1 per lawn back in '72 or something. So Brownrigg offered him $50 to take the rest of the afternoon off, and he said absolutely, and he took the $50 and went and took the rest of the afternoon off. I thought that was a pretty cool story. So off to Jefferson. All right, so here we are in Jefferson, Texas. This served as the fictitious town of Allerton in the movie, and we're going to be here for a couple days. Going to be staying at the House of the Seasons, hitting up the museum, trying to get some footage, some of the other places that were used in Don't Open the Door. Hopefully it will be as successful as my endeavor to Tawakana, and we'll see what happens.
After 13 years away from home, she returned to a house of terror.
So here we are, the House of the Seasons, Jefferson, Texas. It served as the house for Don't Open the Door. This is where Susan Bracken was staying. If you remember in the movie, she even refers to it as the House of the Seasons in the very beginning, right before the credits start rolling.
I could never bring myself to go back to that town. And that house of the seasons.
And this is it. This is the house.
Is anybody here? But you can't scare me. But you can't scare me. You. 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 You.
You're still a spooky old house. But you don't scare me. Yoo-hoo. 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 I didn't do as much narration while I was at the House of the Seasons because after I did my little yoo-hoo thing, I turned off the camera and I turned around and I looked and there was a lady that worked there peeking her head around the corner and I was so freaking embarrassed I wanted to crawl in a hole and die. So, yeah, I kind of just kept my mouth shut for the majority of that.
Anyone up here?
Well, here we are at the top of the cupola up here in the House of the Seasons. You will undoubtedly recognize this area. Various spots throughout the movie.
Hello?
Hello, Miss Post.
Oh, hi, George. How have you been? Long time no hear.
I had to talk to you again. I've been thinking about you. I could see you. She deserved to die.
Stu, you're crazy.
Shut up. Shut up.
Hello, Miss Post. You don't... What did you say? Well, I said, hello, Miss Post. Look, I'm a... What's the matter?
I've got to get out of here.
Well, there's no place to go in Allerton. How's your grandma?
What?
Well, I said, how's your grandma?
Why?
I'm just interested. Wasn't for me, you wouldn't have got those phone calls. What? Mr. Kern? Grandma?
Here at the Jefferson Historical Museum, I'm trying to keep my voice down. This is the museum that was used in the movie, Don't Open the Door, that was run by Claude Kern, who turned out to be the creep of the movie. That was Larry O'Dwyer.
The girl is going to take the things out of the museum. Stop her from doing it. Have I made you angry?
So I'm going to just kind of go through and get some videos, some of the things that were used in the movie, and maybe do a little narration, maybe not, but I'll just kind of play it by ear. So let's check it out.
You kept your promise, Miss Post.
Yes, I'm glad I did.
For you.
museum. I'm trying to keep my voice down, but I got really excited. Look who I found. You recognize this guy? So, why Gerald Fergus Brownrigg? Right? People ask me that sometimes. They say, well, what is it about this guy that's so special? Well, you know, the thing is that Brownrigg always seemed to kind of just go underneath the radar. Everybody knows the Cravens, the Hoopers, the Carpenters, you know, these guys. Brownrigg, even when I go to, like, say, a horror convention or whatever, you mentioned Don't Look in the Basement. Oh yeah, I know that movie. You mentioned S.F. Brownrigg. A lot of people don't know. And I always thought that he was very underrated. You know, he had a style that was really unique and kind of all of his own, you know, and he almost had like a family thing going on with the people that he was always working with. He brought back the same actors in a lot of movies. There was, you know, Gene Ross was present for just about all of them. You had Camilla Carr, you had Hugh Fagan, you had Ann McAdams, a.k.a. Annabelle Wienik. You know, you had Bob Farrar, the guy that did the music for Brownrigg's movies. I mean, his music was a big part of what made Brownrigg's movies so atmospheric. You know, a Brownrigg movie really has its own feel, and a lot of people just don't really know about him, and I've always thought that was kind of unfortunate, you know. And so that is why I've always found him to be a very underrated filmmaker. And when you're watching a Brownrigg picture, you know you're watching a Brownrigg picture because it has that feel to it, you know. And that's why I've always been a fan of his, and that's why I spent my vacation going to Stevens Sanitarium and the House of the Seasons and these sorts of places. It was really cool. It was just fun. You know, I had a blast doing this, you know, and I hope you had as much fun watching this as I had making it.